Yeah, I mean, for me, whenever my coach feel like I'm ready to get out there, and he always says to me, he will never put me on a line if I'm not ready to compete. So I know that whenever I'm there, I'm always ready to compete and not scared of anybody.
Baker in second. Baker coming. Here's Tia Clayton though. Coming through.
Get up, get up, get up.
Imagine this. You're 21 years old, carrying the weight of Jamaican sprinting glory on your shoulders, and the only thing standing between you and a world championship ticket is the Olympic champion herself. That was the reality for Tia Clayton. After injuries forced her out of Jamaica's national championships, her season came down to one race, the Diamond League final. Win it, and she could salvage everything with a wild card entry. Lose, and her chance at proving herself on the global stage would be gone. No second chances. No more next time. And the woman in the lane beside her? Julianne Alfred. Calm, confident, an Olympic gold medalist with nerves of steel. Tia had the burden of proving she wasn't just another young talent. Julianne had the mission of reminding everyone she still ruled the 100 meters. What unfolded that night was more than a race. It was a clash of generations, a collision of pressure and poise, and a glimpse into sprinting's future. For Tia Clayton, the Diamond League final was not just another race on the calendar. It was the biggest moment of her young career. Her injury at the Jamaican trials had cost her the automatic spot, and without this wild card chance, she would spend the rest of the year watching instead of competing. That kind of pressure would crush most athletes. But Tia carried not just her own dreams, but the weight of a nation's expectations. Jamaica has produced the fastest men and women in history. Bolt, Fraser-Price, Thompson-Herah, names that are not just remembered but worshipped in track and field circles. For every new sprinter, the question isn't simply, are you good, but can you carry the torch? Tia was already under the microscope long before she took her place on the start line. And then there was Alfred, Olympic champion. A sprinter who had already stared down the world and come out on top. Facing her wasn't just a test, it was the ultimate trial by fire. Beat Alfred and Tia would instantly move from promising youngster to legitimate contender. Lose and the whispers of not ready would only grow louder. The tension was enormous, the stakes undeniable, and both women knew what this race meant. The drama began before the gun even fired. Marie-Josée Smith false started, throwing the entire field into chaos. The crowd groaned, the officials scrambled, and the athletes had to reset. For veterans like Alfred, this was nothing new. She stood calm, chewing gum, her body language almost daring the field to try her. For Tia, though, the disruption was dangerous. Already carrying nerves, the false start risked breaking her rhythm. Cameras caught her face during introductions, eyes focused but shoulders tense. She looked like someone who understood exactly how much was at stake. Alfred, by contrast, looked like someone who'd been here 100 times before. She didn't just look confident. She looked untouchable. That pre-race contrast told the story. One athlete fighting her nerves, another exuding control. In that moment, you could feel the energy in the stadium shift. Fans wondered, would the pressure unravel Tia before the race even began? Or would it light a fire? Then came the gun. And what happened stunned everyone. Tia Clayton exploded out of the blocks with the start of her life. Crisp, powerful, perfectly timed. Her acceleration was flawless. In those opening strides, she wasn't just matching Julianne Alfred. She was beating her. For 30 meters, she had the lead. By 40, she was still ahead. The crowd roared as the underdog shocked the field. This wasn't nerves. This was talent. This was years of training meeting the perfect moment. Jamaican fans leapt to their feet, chanting, believing they were about to witness history. Commentators raised their voices. Was this the upset of the season? Could Tia actually topple the Olympic champion? It wasn't just the lead, it was the authority with which she took it. Her form was sharp, her strides quick, her intent undeniable. For a brief, electrifying moment, Tia Clayton looked destined to rewrite the story. But sprinting is brutal. Races are won in the last 30 meters, and that's where Julianne Alfred reminded everyone who she was. Around the 70-meter mark, the shift began. Alfred's stride opened up, her top-end speed kicked in, and step by step she reeled Tia back in. The look of control on her face said it all. She knew this was her territory. For Tia, the dream started to slip. She was still pushing, still driving, but Alfred's experience and raw finishing power were too much. By 80 meters, Alfred surged past her, turning the chase into inevitability. By the line, Alfred had not only overtaken her but stamped her authority on the race. The heartbreak was visible. For 60 meters, Tia had been in control. But at this level, the final 40 decide everything. Alfred had stayed calm, bided her time, and delivered when it mattered most. That's what champions do. The scoreboard confirmed it. Julian Alfred, 10.76 seconds. Not the flashy 10.6 many predicted, but equal to her season's best. Another statement win. Tia Clayton, 10.84 seconds. Not the fairy tale she wanted, not enough for the wild card, but still a performance that turned heads. Behind them, Dina Asher-Smith clawed her way back to third in 10.94, with Joshawn Smith close behind at 10.96. It was a loaded field, but all eyes were on the duel at the front. Alfred had proved once again why she's the standard. Tia had proved she could go toe-to-toe, even if she couldn't quite finish the job. For Jamaican fans, it was heartbreak. No wild card, no worlds, but the silver lining. They had seen enough to know Tia Clayton is coming. And when she does, she won't just be competing, she'll be contending. The result may sting, but the performance was a message. Tia Clayton showed she has the tools to challenge the best. Her start was world-class. Her drive phase rivaled anyone on the track. The weakness? The final 20 meters. That's where races are lost, and that's where she needs to grow. But she's young. She's still learning. Analysts and fans alike agreed. The 10.7 race is in her legs. It just hasn't all come together yet. What this race gave her wasn't a wild card, but something else. Respect. Respect from her rivals who now know she's a threat. Respect from the crowd who saw her fearless start. And respect from the sport itself, which recognizes when a talent is about to break through. Tia may not have booked her ticket to the World Championships, but she booked something just as valuable: belief. For Julian Alfred, this race was business as usual. Another win, another statement. But the details matter. Her start wasn't sharp, unusual for her, but she still recovered, stayed calm, and found a way to win. That's the mark of a champion. Even when she isn't perfect, she's still unbeatable. Her 10.76 wasn't jaw-dropping, but it was efficient, effective, and decisive. And considering her recent injury setbacks, it was also proof of resilience. For her rivals, the message couldn't be clearer. If Alfred can win races like this when she falters early, what happens when she nails her start? The answer terrifies the field. She dominates. She crushes dreams. And she reminds everyone why she wears the crown. For now, Alfred is still the woman to beat. When the race was over and the conversation started, it was clear this was about more than just a result. It was about what it meant. Julian Alfred proved her reign continues. She's still the queen, still the benchmark, still the standard everyone else is chasing. But Tia Clayton proved the future is closing in. She didn't win, but she announced herself. She showed courage, talent, and potential that can't be ignored. Jamaica may have to wait for her breakthrough, but it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. If she can combine that explosive start with a finishing kick, the sprinting world may soon see a new champion rise. For now, Alfred holds the crown. But the heir is waiting, and every race brings her closer. The rivalry has only just begun.